Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the pre-match build-up. A massive game tonight against Lyon in the Europa League in the quarter-final of the second leg. It is 2-2 on aggregate as it stands as we sit here right now. 5-7, 65 minutes, 65 minutes until kickoff. And you can already see on the screen, this is the team that we're lining up with. We've got Andre Onana in net. We have Nasser Mazraoui, Maguire, and Lenny Yoro as your three centre-backs. We have Diego Dalot, Ugarte, Casemiro, and Dorgu at left wing-back. And then we have Garnacho, Rasmus Højlund, and the captain, Bruno Fernandes. That makes up your full starting 11. And we, as always, when we do these kind of pre-match build-ups, we're going to go through each individual, how we feel about them going into the game. We're going to talk about tactics. We're going to talk about the opposition. We're going to get a couple of the manager quotes, and we're also going to dive in just in general feelings, because I think there's a lot of anxious fans going into this. It basically is the whole season, isn't it? If we're being completely transparent, it is this, and if you go out of this, we are done. Effectively, we're done. It's season over because no one's really bothered about the Premier League. It's as simple as that. No one's asked if we go out of this and then, we've got Wolves in the next game and whoever it is. I can't remember who else we play. But there's just no momentum. There's no seriousness about it at all because where are we? 13th in the league, I think. Something along the lines of that. We are currently at the minute 14th on 38 points. It doesn't really... I believe, each position you go up in the Premier League, you get a couple of million or something, I think. So financially, they'll be looking at it like that, basically. Like, oh, well, there's money in it. But from a fan perspective, watching football, no one's going to be heavily invested in the Prem football because of how bad the season's been. It is statistically, factually going to go down as the worst Premier League season ever. So no one's asked about that. Everyone is invested in tonight. If you don't get through tonight, I don't know what to tell you. If you are just joining, please do smash the like on the video, subscribe to the channel. We are just gone over 13,903 subs, so we're 97 subs off 14k. So if you are new, please do hit that subscribe button. But let's go through the team together, and the obvious starting point, ladies and gentlemen, is obviously going to be Andre Onana. This is the guy who, you can make an argument, who is basically going to decide this game. Because had he not made that second... Well, first and foremost, had he not made the first mistake, we wouldn't be on the back foot trying to get back into the game. And then second of all, had he not made the second mistake, then we would have been going into this game with a lot more confidence because we would have been 2-1 up, away from home, back at Old Trafford. You've just got to keep it tight and solid and you go through to the semi-finals. But obviously, he had other plans. So it was a case of picking out of Bill or Ben today, dumb or dumber, with Bayindir and Onana. And I mean that respectfully. It sounds like I'm being really harsh on him, but what else can you be when you've had one goalkeeper who has made around 7 or 8 errors in Europe alone, and then you've had another goalkeeper who has had probably about 5 or 6 appearances and has made 2 mistakes as well. The one at Tottenham and the one at Newcastle on the weekend. So for a manager, it's a headache, really, innit, that you don't want. You don't want to be picking from, which keeper basically going into this who's not going to fuck up the most. That's almost like the mindset. Who's not going to, because they rested Onana at the weekend, it's like, okay, maybe he's got a fresh mind. He had a lot of stuff going on outside of football. I think his wife got robbed, I think, in Manchester. So obviously that was, and any human being, that will take away from you, right? But just in general, he's given him a rest and he's putting faith in him in this game. I do think Onana's a better goalkeeper. I think he's got a higher ceiling than Bayindir, for example, but I think he's got a lower floor. I think that's probably the best way to describe it. I think if we go out tonight, this might sound harsh on him, he's got something to do with it. Because when you watch the performance against Lyon in France, it weren't awful. Like, we kept him at bay a bit. They had the odd chance, don't get me wrong. I mean, Utd and Turkey, especially towards like kind of the last 15 minutes, was doing really, really well. But aside from that, like I thought defensively we weren't too bad for an away performance, particularly given the form that we've been in this season. But when you have a goalkeeper who is adamant on just letting goals in, like the free kick that we saw that just bounced in, needs to do a lot better on that. And then the second goal where he's parrying it out straight back to him is something that we've associated with this goalkeeper for a long, long time. I mean, there's so many examples you can go back to, whether it be Europe or the Premier League. Genuinely, you go back and watch. There's so many, especially the parrying ones. I mean, did it, I think, twice in the Everton game. He's done it against Brentford, really awkward saves. In Europe, I mean, there's countless mistakes in Europe. So even as a team, you have to sit there when you're going into this. I know they're all publicly backing him because that's what Maguire was doing when he was sat alongside Ruben Amorim in the presser. He was publicly out there saying, no, this is our guy. He's a phenomenal keeper. I mean, I'm sat there thinking, lads, you're blowing it up. You're putting a face on because every man and his dog and a United fan know this keeper ain't it. He ain't. The mistakes that he makes, no one can trust him. And if we can't trust him as fans, you damn straight the players ain't going to trust him. They're going out onto that pitch and they're thinking exact same as what we're thinking. Please don't make a fucking mistake. Please, for the love of God. So that makes you nervy in the game straight off the bat. I mean, even individual players like Dalot, Maguire, Casemiro, they've all got a mistake in him. And that's what worries me in particular about tonight. Not having that level of trust with the players going into it. Even with the experience that we're talking about. I mean, Onana's played in the Champions League final. Casemiro's won 5 Champions Leagues. Mazraoui's played in those with Bayern Munich. He slipped up against Newcastle. Maguire's capable of doing it. So we could put on the most stellar performance you've ever seen, but we're more than capable of just slipping up and letting in a couple of goals. And that's the biggest worry for me. So, yeah, we've got quite a few people in the chat. Give me your thoughts. I want to hear what people are thinking. Like, are you nervous? Are you positive? Are you confident with this game? Because it's the biggest game of the season. Just straight up facts. Quarterfinal, Europa League. It means absolutely everything if we was to get through. We've got to win it, of course. But if you get into the semis, I mean, you're in touching distance there. You really, really are. So, Onana, please, if you can hear me, if there is a God out there, if you even believe in a God, I beg you, put on a good performance tonight. Please. Just, peacock. We know you've got a big personality / ego, whatever you want to call it. Bring it into this game and don't make a mistake. Make good saves. That's all we want to see. Just in front of him, we've got Mazraoui, Maguire, and Lenny Yoro again, which has been kind of the back three that you would expect to see. I would have personally liked to have rested Mazraoui because I feel like he's absolutely knackered. And that slip against Newcastle kind of aligned with that. You could see he's played so much football. He's also been playing football whilst he's been fasting. He needs a rest. But obviously, Luke Shaw isn't available to start for a full 90 minutes because if he was, what I would have done is, especially for the experience as well, I would have shifted Lenny Yoro over to the right-hand side and I would have put Luke Shaw as the left-sided centre-half and then Maguire as the central one. And I think that would have been pretty strong. But obviously, he isn't available and ready and it's a bit of a risk. And I almost feel like they're doing with Shaw now at the minute what they was doing with him in the Euros or World Cup or whenever it was in terms of just... we'll just see, and then if he's fit for the semis and the final, then we'll bring him into it. I think that's what Ruben Amorim's doing. But likewise, I think, if Yoro and Mazraoui have played really well up until that point, then why drop him, right? So yeah, that back three I'm not overly concerned with. I think Maguire's fine as a central centre-back. I think what he offers you on the ball as well at times, the switches of play, kind of breaking that if there is a low block you're playing against or mid block, whatever you want to call it. He has the capabilities of doing that. Then the four, I'm not convinced on it, genuinely. I think Dalot, Ugarte, Casemiro and Dorgu. I would have preferred to have dropped Bruno Fernandes. I said this when we did the clip for Hits Radio Manchester today. I said I would have dropped Bruno Fernandes back into the midfield alongside Ugarte and I would have had Mount, Højlund and Garnacho. And it's a very pragmatic team, that. I think you have to go for the jugular today, just for me. Like Ugarte and Cass, it seems like you're going away to a Madrid or a Barcelona. And with all due respect, I know Lyon are good, but I think we could have took it to them today, genuinely. And you still can, Casemiro's got the capabilities, those first-time passes in behind for Rasmus. But they're not two players, they're very defensive-minded players. Do you know what I mean? So it's almost like you're half playing on the transition a little bit, which I wouldn't expect. You're in front of 75,000 fans tonight. I want to see a little bit more than that. Dorgu, obviously, he was rested one against Newcastle, came on for the last 20 minutes or whatever it was, because Amas got his first debut, so he should be fresh. He is a threat. I think he's had a little bit of a wobble in the past couple of games. But he is like, he gets down the byline, he'll cut it back across the box, he'll put crosses into the box as well. Like, he is an outlet for us at the minute, so that's positive that he's available and he's ready to go. And then I'll get into the attacking line in a minute. Let me get into the comments. Chips and gravy. Onana needs to be sacked. Wow. Andy Williams saying, how are we feeling? It's always the same problem. Cass and Ugarte can't really progress the ball. That's what I'm saying. The midfield for me, that's the biggest one. But he clearly doesn't feel like Mason Mount's ready to start, because if he did, then he would be in the team. So I don't know, maybe the 45th, 50th, 60th minute, you'll probably see Mason Mount, Kobe, and a couple of others. For Casemiro or Ugarte, he usually takes off Ugarte, doesn't he, in like the 60th minute for whatever reason. But that front three tonight, ladies and gentlemen, that is the one that's where your bread is buttered. If they're not up for it tonight, I don't think it matters whatever the other midfielders or defenders do, or the goalkeeper. That front three, because we need goals. Whatever way you look at it, whether it's penalties, whether it's extra time, or whether it's normal time, you need goals tonight because it is level. It's 2-2. So one of them needs to score. One of them needs to step up. And typically, of course, is usually Bruno Fernandes. But yeah, I think in general anyway, I think if we win this tournament, it's because of him. I think there was that stat one that obviously before the Newcastle game that every game from January onwards, he has a goal involvement in every single game. So obviously the expectation on him as the captain tonight is going to be the one, okay, we need you to do something. We know you've done it for the past couple of months, Bruno, but we need something tonight. Genuinely, we need something tonight. So hopefully he delivers. And then the other two, I mean, where do we even start with these lads? Højlund and Garnacho. I don't trust him. We can create, let's say we create 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 big chances tonight. Them two could miss 9, 6, 7, 8 chances tonight. They're more than capable of doing that. The Liam Delap video is ready to drop. We're going to drop that tomorrow on Friday morning. And what I found was interesting, when I looked into our attack this season and the underlying numbers and statistics, Garnacho has had, I think it was around 75 shots in the Premier League, and I think he's scored 4 or 5. So he's got the worst conversion rate in the league. And again, that you don't need stats to tell you that, because you guys have all watched him this season. You've all, if you have got hair, you have all been pulling your hair out watching him. He's been so frustrating and just snapping at shots and either overhitting passes or underhitting passes like he did in the Lyon game. Where I think, did he overhit it for Bruno? When he was supposed to square it, it just got away from him, like in a really important area. So yeah, that's just encapsulates Garnacho's full season. What we've had there. Rasmus Højlund, I mean, I can't remember the last time he scored. Was it Victoria Pleasing when he scored? Maybe. I think he's got 1 in 27 in total, which is it's just for a United striker. I mean, it's absolutely awful, that. Terrible. But you'd like to think, look, Garnacho got a goal against Newcastle, and he actually took his goal really, really well. I thought it was quite a composed finish for what we're used to seeing with Garnacho in that kind of final third. So hopefully he's got a bit of wits about him tonight. He's the one player. The reason why when we're doing our team predictions and when we get to the front three, I always have this conversation with Sam, like, who's going to be in the front three? It's always Garnacho, because he is the only player in a minute, bar Ahmad, but obviously Ahmad's injured at the minute, who's very direct and will go at him 1v1. Like, Bruno isn't that player. Højlund isn't that player. Dorgu, to a certain extent. Dalot is too shy to do that a lot of the times. I want to see more from him, actually. Speaking about Diego Dalot, I kind of glazed past him. But from a Dalot, from his point of view today, I want to see him running at defenders, crossing balls into the box. I want cutbacks, step overs, little jinks to the side. That's the kind of stuff I want to see from the wing-backs today. They have to be a threat as well, because in Ruben Amorim's system, there's a lot of emphasis on the wing-backs and importance, and they get a lot of the chances as well. So I won't be surprised if one of them two either score or get an assist tonight. That would be my early shout to go with. But yeah, Garnacho, you get an opportunity tonight, lad. You have to take it, because I don't think you can really define how important this Europa League is to United season. I touched on it at the start, how dead this season is now. If we was to go out tonight, it's done in it, basically. It's just shit. Like, no one's bothered about the rest of the season. But if you go through and you get through to the semi-finals and you play Bilbao or Rangers, who we've already beaten, and you get through to the final, like, that is huge. Absolutely huge. Could be Amarin's first trophy. Financially, it'd be so important. Getting back into the Champions League to a club, I believe it's worth around kind of 50 to 100 million for a club in general. And then not only that, when you want to attract players, you might think at the time when we're linked with players like Osman or Gyökeres, you might think, oh, well, they're not going to come to us because they have clubs in the Champions League who are willing to offer them game time and minutes and be a really important piece of that puzzle for their team. Then you look at it and you think, well, if United get in there, then that's something that we can offer, right? So there's so many things that the Europa League can do for us winning it. It's so massive for everyone at the club, managers and players involved, that it's just, I don't know if that pressure's going to get to him. I mean, this is quite literally Rasmus Højlund's biggest night of his career. And if he doesn't feel like that, then there's something wrong, because it is. He's the main focal point for United. He's the only striker that we've got. Xerxes is out for the season injured. Chido can't play because he's not even registered in Europe. So he's the only one, the one and only. And if it is ever a time to score and take your moment, it is tonight. It really, really is. And then you never know then, with confidence, what it can do for strikers. You score 1 or 2 goals tonight, like, you can start really propelling again. It happened last year, but obviously he went on a huge drought, didn't he? And then he scored, and then he was like 10 in 12 games or something. So it's not like I'm saying I have faith. I feel harsh saying that because I don't. I don't think he'll score tonight. I think we'll see more of the same. But he's going to have one or two opportunities tonight. He had one in the Lyon game, a really big one, where it was cut back to him at the edge of the 18-yard box, and he snatched at it. And it was the one moment where you watch it, you're like, if that was just a prestige striker who's really confident, they probably put that in the back of the net. But he snatched. It was a little bit rash. He went back to Lyon, and then they went on the attack. And you're like, see, that's the difference. That's the difference. As a club at the minute, we have a goalkeeper who makes way too many mistakes and is absolutely adamant on letting goals in. And we have a striker who can't score. They are the two most important areas of the pitch. And we're struggling in both of them. So if you're looking for anyone to step up today, it is Bruno Fernandes, hands down. The issue is they have their own Bruno Fernandes in Ryan Cherky, who I'll talk about momentarily. But let's get into the comments. What are we saying, people? How are we all feeling? Andy's saying carrying the ball is big, but would rather get the ball to Bruno quicker. Not conceding a goal is more important. If we don't get the ball to Bruno, how quick do we score? Kevin McValley says Bruno will save us. I certainly hope so. I would have played Garnacho striker and played Mount and Bruno in the 10. I thought Mount could potentially start in this game. I genuinely thought he could have started, but he's obviously not ready. I think you'll definitely see him in the second half. You know what? I would probably... Let me get the suspension up, actually, because I don't know factually who's on it. So let me pull it up and see who's on there, and then I can actually discuss it, because I don't want to just speculate. I want to see who's actually on the bench. Where we at? Come on. There we go. Binder, Heaton, Amas, Camerson, Kunkonke, Lindelof, Shaw, Ericsson, Mainu, Mount, Morehouse. That's what I mean. We don't even have a striker to bring on. But I think Mount, Mainu, Shaw, and even maybe Ericsson could have a say in this game. You know, if it's tight, if it's 0-0 or 1-1, going into the last 20 minutes, I think that these players could have a say in it. Because Mainu looked bright when he came on against Lyon. I think Mount, you know, he didn't look out of place. It looked quite good. So, yeah, the subs could have a big, huge say in this today. Because I don't see it being like Lyon 2-0 straight away or United 2-0 straight away. I think it'd be pretty edgy for the first half. And pretty close. And both teams will have a couple of chances. The second half is where this game is won for me. It really is. But look, even, you know, the first leg, you can only judge it off because we've already played them, right? So you have a sample size there to go off and look at and think, okay, this is what we're dealing with today. This is what we're coming up against. They know us. We know them. What's going to change in this game? I thought it was very even in the last one. If I was to assess it from a non-biased perspective, I think Lyon had attackers in the important areas who done better than ours did. So, for example, Ryan Cherky stepped up at the important time, obviously got the goal. Mika Tuadze, when he was in the final third, really caused some problems. He was like nutmegging players and just like sprinting past him. They felt like more of a threat, and he was more dynamic, and he was just better than ours. And also, they don't have a goalkeeper. I don't even know their goalkeeper's name. Do you know what I'm saying? Everyone knows Onana's name because of the mistakes that he made. So they didn't have a goalkeeper that makes mistakes at that high level. That helps, of course, as well. So in actual fact, usually when I do these kind of pre-match build-ups, I do a bit of a tactical talk. But in terms of tactics, I think it all goes out the window for me. Genuinely, I think fight, desire, all the cliches above that is what you need tonight. You're at home. You're in front of 75,000 people with a chance to advance into the semi-final. Let's go and do that fucking job. It's there. This is the season. It is. You know, you created good chances. You basically had won the game in the first leg. It was there. Done and dusted. And then your keeper went, nope, it's in a bit. I think Lyon are going to come to Old Trafford today. I think they are going to be a little bit more pragmatic than he was at home. I think they'll be a little bit more reserved. But then when they get an opportunity on the transition with Cherky, Mkhitaryan, Thiago Almero, and they'll find openings, because a lot of teams who have come to Old Trafford today have, and worse teams than Lyon, by the way. The thing about the Southampton game, he was all over us for 80 minutes. I know people will say that was a couple months ago, whatever, but you know, we can be fragile at times. So I think Lyon will know that, and they'll also know that I know there is fan pressure on us at home, but there's an expectation as well. We're expecting the lads to deliver tonight, and if it gets to the 80th, 70th or 80th, I think you're going to start feeling a bit of anxiety around the stadium, and a little bit nervous, you know, and then the pressure's on then. It really, really is. I would have played Garnacho striker. Oh, sorry, we already read that out. Colby could be big. Hoyland, you can score. They have a decent bench too. 2-0 United. Watching Arsenal last night, couldn't help think of how quick United would have folded with that pressure. Well, me and Shreyas discussed yesterday, actually, on the show that we did, that, you know, even if we was to advance into the Champions League, like if we won the Europa League and we got into the Champions League, could we even compete? Genuinely, could we even compete in the Champions League right now at the level that we're at? Could we fuck? Not a chance, the way we're playing at the minute. I think we've been really, really average. And you put us against an Inter Milan or a Bayern Munich or anyone like that, I think they are absolutely handing our ass to us on a silver platter. So it's all good getting in there and the revenue and the players that you can attract. And obviously that's all fantastic. But in terms of actually competing in the game, I wouldn't be so sure. I really, really wouldn't. I don't think we have the players capable of competing with the top teams in Europe at the minute. So, but obviously you have a window on top of that as well. You'll have a decent recruitment, hopefully, in the summer. So that will up the ability, up the competition in the team. But I think we've got a couple of years before we start competing near the top. I really, really do. Now, we've got a couple of quotes coming in from Ruben Amorim that I'm just ciphering through now that I want to read out in a minute. I want to get his initial thoughts on the game. But please do speak to me, people, if you are just joining. I know there's a lot of people that are coming in and out of the stream. I want to hear your thoughts on this. What's the consensus? Are people nervous? Are you positive? Do you think we can actually do this? Because it's a very mixed review online at the minute from the quotes that I'm seeing. I'm more on the nervy side than I am the confident side that we're going to go and do this, because I think this could be a very, very close game towards the end, and then I don't want to say it, but Lyon potentially nicking it. That's just a gut feeling that I've got, and I hate having gut feelings, but you have to be honest. You have to be honest, don't you? Big old Rio Ferdinand's been speaking before the game. He's saying, I'm quite confident. I've got more confident as the day's gone by. I woke up quite negative. Why is that? The closer I got to the stadium, I've got more confident. I'm starting to believe, and I'm hoping for a good performance. Ruben Amorim saying, if you are a coach, the next game is always the most important. But of course, it's a competition that we can win a title and we can secure European football for next year. So it's really important in this moment. On motivating the United players, he says, I think it's easier. They want to play better than the last game. We want to do a good performance for our fans, and especially we need to win this game to get to the next stage. It's kind of obvious. comment. I think it's really important, but we expect full support. That is normal here, and they have to understand they also have to be really smart during the game. And on Onana, he said Lyon will let Onana take the ball a lot of time, and we need to be patient, especially in the beginning of the game. So we need to be smart, but also use that power, that energy that we have here in Old Trafford with our friends to win the game. Yeah, let me give you some stats whilst I... my throat's so dry, I need a drink. Oh, I've got to drink it. I've got straight whiskey, but I'm not drinking that. Not a chance. Yeah, look, in European competitions in general, we've never lost to Lyon. I think in 5 or 6 games, whether that'd be Champions League, Europa League, UEFA Cup, whatever it is, we've never ever lost to him. So that's something. Obviously, we know the game was won pretty much in the first leg because Onana decided to fuck it up. Or it was about to be won, and then he went, "Yep, let me just chuck this goal in." And we've also won double the amount of quarterfinals than we have lost in history. So that is also something if you want to, I don't know, cling on to any form of positivity. I'm trying to give you something to hold on to. I want to ask you lot, who you worried about most from Lyon? Who started, because they're starting the same team as they did in the first leg, right? So when we watched that first leg, who was the one player you looked at and you was like, he's causing problems, man. I can't deal with him. Talk to me, people. And also, whilst you're at it, if you want to answer another question on top of that as well, how do we fancy our chances against the next opponents if we get through? Because we play Athletic, Bilbao, or Rangers, I think, in the semi-final. Whoever wins out of those two tonight. So how do you fancy the chances against them? Because the final is in Bilbao. So if Bilbao win tonight, and we play them in the semis, they have 2 more games before they... It's like United having a final in Manchester. Can you imagine? And we get to the semi-finals. Like, that's something extra to take you that next step, you know? So how do we fancy our chances, people? Talk to me whilst I put my phone on charge, because it needs a bit of charge. Really itchy throat as well. What are we saying? Watching... Oh, sorry, I read that. I just don't trust the mistakes we have in us. I'm the same. That's the one thing in the back of my head where I'm like, well, we could put in a good performance. We could score a couple of goals. We could get a couple of assists. And then I'm like, yeah, but we do have a keeper who could also let in 2 goals. We do have a centre-back who can be clumsy at times and get his pocket picked. We do have a right wing-back who sometimes doesn't cover his back post. We have someone in midfield in Casemiro who, you know, when he gets on the ball, he can be clumsy with it and he can get his pocket picked. And they can get a quick transition. I go through the team and I'm like, trust. I'm like Drake at the minute. Trust issues is a massive, massive thing with this team. I think the crowd can also, just to add to it as well, I think the crowd could have a massive say. Genuinely. I mentioned I was at the Sociedad game in the last round when we beat them. The first game against them, in comparison to the one at Old Trafford, was completely different. Completely different. And the reason for that is, obviously, in the second leg, they scored a penalty, went 1-0 up with Oyarzabal, right? In the first, I want to say like 15, 20 minutes, whatever it was. But the difference was the crowd. The crowd was like the heat of the crowd and the support and the just consistency throughout the full game for that game in isolation was really, really good. And I think the crowd, I mean, it's sold out tonight. Very difficult to get a ticket. I'm hoping the fans are absolutely just turn it into a tribal European night. You know, sometimes when you travel to Galatasaray or you travel to these kind of places and they just make it really uncomfortable for the opposition. There's flares, there's tifos, there's noise. It's just like, you make it uncomfortable environment for opposition players. And I hope there's a bit of that tonight because we are going to need everything we can get. Any resource we can tap into tonight. United need to do it. And there was actually a planned tifo, wasn't there? I think we touched on this when we did the breaking news show. There was a planned tifo in the crowd tonight. That's little bits like that. I mean, apparently there's already been encouraging ovation for Onana from the United fans in the Stretford end. So, yeah. Bruno Fernandes has been speaking on United fans. He says they never stop. They've been very big for us this season. They are one of the reasons why it hasn't been worse than we actually are. They have always been by our side, and it is time for us now to pay back. I'm really eager to see how he gets on tonight. I hope he has a good game. I hope he has a good game because honestly, I think we only get through if he does something. If he gets an assist or there's a penalty or, he scores a banger, that is our one golden key. And then you flip that, they've got Ryan Cherki. Ryan Cherki has the most assists in the Europa League, by the way. So he has been one of the best players in the competition. I'm really curious to know, actually. I want to search this up. If Fofana's on the bench for them. I don't know if anyone's familiar with Fofana, but he's, I think, second or third in the goal-scoring list in the Europa League. Really super talented player. So if he's on the bench, then that's someone they can bring on, and it's a bit like, well, let's have a look. Yeah, Malik Fofana's on the bench as well. Keep an eye out for him. Remember me saying this. Last 10, 15 minutes, Malik Fofana, dangerous player. Obviously, they've got experience in there with Lacazette, Matic, as well, Diarra. I mean, our bench, half of it's unrecognisable. Kokonke, Camerson, Morehouse, Amas, Heaton, Bayern, Lindelof, and then Mount, Ericsson, Shaw, Mainu, and the more obviously recognisable names. But it's not a great bench, is it, if you want to change the game? It's really not. Old Trafford will lose its patience with Onana in 10 minutes. Yeah. It's all that, the first sample size for me, Lyon scored against us, was it the 25th minute? Thiago Almada scored that free kick. We always concede first. So it wouldn't surprise me if we conceded first, and then we've got a bit of a mountain to climb, we bring it back, and we end up going to win the game or take it through to extra time. Because that has just been us. I think there was a statistic, only Leicester... There's fireworks going off in the background. I don't know what that's for. Imagine if it's for from Old Trafford for the game. I think only Leicester have conceded first more than us as a team. I'm not sure if that's Premier League or Europa League. Also, I'm not sure if you can hear those fireworks. Who's letting off those? I mean, we're in April. What could be the possible need for fireworks? Can you hear them? 1 second, let me have a look at these. Oh, they stopped now, obviously. As soon as I pulled the blind up, they stopped. Really random, that. Really, really random. No idea where fireworks are coming from. Right, let's get into the betting slip. Is that what we're calling it? The 4 or 5 things that we can predict that's going to happen in this game. What do we see, ladies and gentlemen? So I want a score prediction, yellow cards, shot on targets, extra time penalties, red cards, VAR decisions. Anything you see happening in this game, talk to me. Because I'm going to go through mine now. I'm not usually, I kind of pre-write. Is that the correct word? I don't know what the word is. Usually I go through this and I'm like, this is going to happen. But off the cuff, right now, off the top of my head, I think... Oh, let's have a look. I think Lyon score first, again. I think Bruno Fernandes gets a penalty or a free kick and scores it, or even from a set piece gets an assist, and we get back into it. I think Ugarte gets a yellow card, and I think there will be an unsung hero / winner in extra time from one of the subs. Subs is something I genuinely believe one of them, a substitute's going to do something tonight. Whether it's a Mount goal or Mainu or even a Shaw assist. You know, if you look at Luke Shaw when he came on against Newcastle, that cross he put in for Rasmus. And people might call that clutching at straws, but, I mean, what else have we got, lads? You know, we've got nothing else to bring off the bench. So that is how I'm assessing this game at the minute. I actually don't think Onana's going to make a mistake. Watch this get clipped up now. No, I don't. I actually don't. KJ is the vibe I'm going for in this game. Very, very even. They go ahead, we bring it back, and we win in extra time, and we advance through to semi-finals. I'm going bold. I'm going bold tonight. Because someone's got to have a bit of positivity in it. You know what I mean? I know there's a lot of nervy feelings out there, but I'm going to go positive, man. It might be the few whiskies that are talking, but I don't care. I'm going for it. Andy's saying, I wish I could have got a ticket for tonight. I tried myself, mate. I tried myself. Sold out completely. Even the people that I usually speak to, and I say, you know, have you got a ticket there? They're all going to the game. So it was either that. I mean, someone offered a ticket for like 125 quid, I think it was. And I'm not fucking paying that. No chance. So, yeah. Raynator, till the wheels fall off, I'm backing this team. Would change and have Mountain, but it's the club tonight. I mean, that seems to be the general consensus, doesn't it? A lot of people seem to be saying they would have started Mount tonight. 1-1, Bruno goal, Ugarte yellow, 4-2 wins on pens. I hope it doesn't go to penalties. I can't. I don't have the blood pressure to deal with penalties. United have already taken years off my life due to penalty shootouts. I don't think I could deal with another one. Do it in extra time. Or just in general, in football, just skip extra time and just do penalties, please. I can't be arsed with it just makes me way too anxious. Especially in a game of this magnitude. I can't be fucked with that. Do we have any other quotes coming out? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. I need to rest my throat. My throat's absolutely killing. Really need a drink. I want to get the actual opinion though of other people. Who would be your starting midfield two for United? The majority of people went Ugarte, Mainu, but Mainu's not even. I mean, what's Mainu played? 10 minutes max, I think. Yeah. Here's a question for you: who would you want to play in the next round and the final? So if we go, sorry, let me pull my mic back a little bit. Europa League. Oh shit. So Lazio, obviously, they lost 2-0, which was a bit of a surprise, wasn't it, against Bodo Glimt. We're 2-2 in aggregate against Lyon. Athletic, Bilbao, and Rangers are 0-0. And then Frankfurt and Tottenham are 1-1. So anyone can still go through, genuinely. Lazio at home could bring it back against Bodo very easily. Lyon or United could go through, that's very close. Frankfurt and Tottenham, Frankfurt at home, but I don't know. I still think Tottenham are going to get to the final, you know. And then I think Athletic Club at home will beat Rangers. I think they'll have too much for him. I think it's going to be Lazio and Tottenham in the semis. I think United and Athletic Club in the semis. I don't know. It might even end up being a Tottenham United final, you know. In which case, I mean, they've already beaten us 3 or 4 times this season, so God knows how that would go. But that's the most important one. It doesn't matter if you win that one. Doesn't matter about the other 3, does it? You've won the trophy at the end of the day. Think about the pressure, right? So think how shit the season's been for both United and Tottenham. They're both around 13th, 14th in the table, aren't they? Tottenham are desperate for a trophy. Like, I mean, they would bite your hand off right now with the way their season's gone. The majority of them want Ange Postecoglou to go as well. So for him to win a trophy, it'd be huge. He'd probably end up staying at the club because it's undeniable then. Them winning their first trophy in God knows how many years. I can't remember the last trophy they actually won. And then for United, the flip side, the importance, the revenue, Amorim's first season, the confidence it'll put in the club. Like, that's a massive, massive game for both teams. And I'm not saying it's not big games for others. Obviously it is, but that'd be a mad final, wouldn't it? I don't know if I'd back us in that because we've been so poor against Spurs this season and conceded a lot of goals as well. So, yeah. But we need to win tonight. That's the main thing. We need to win tonight. I don't see Spurs winning away in Germany. This is Ange's final. I'd rather have Rangers in the semis and obviously Bodo in the final. Well, you think we've already beaten Rangers and we've already beaten Bodo. So if we do get any of them too, there's your confidence, there's your motivation for it. Like, lads, you've already done it. You've shown you can do it. Obviously, it's at a more crucial point in the game, right? But you have already done it. So, who's this? Who's ringing me? Sorry, 2 seconds. Someone's ringing me. Probably my mate's going, why are you not back at the pub? Here we go. I'm getting rang now on a live stream. Hello. I'm on a live stream right now. Hurry up. No. Go on, say something, Reese. Get yourself cancelled. Shut up. So now that's how you deal with idiots, ladies and gentlemen. Put the phone down on them. When they've had too many beers and they're getting too confident, fuck off. Put the phone down. See you in a bit. And if they're watching this right now, yeah, I've just done you, mate. Bang. See you in a bit. Totty boo. Right, anyway. I would honestly go into hiding if this doesn't go our way. Yeah. He's done, innit? Like, who's asked about, genuinely, who's bothered about the rest of the season? If you know what I mean, if we lose this tonight, I don't care. Like, obviously we will still do lives and stuff like that, but I couldn't give a bollocks if we lose tonight. The rest of the games are just, there's nothing in it. So here is my message for the players tonight. Everyone who's on that pitch or graphic next to me there, please, for the love of God, for everyone who's in the chat in a minute and everyone who's sat in Old Trafford at the moment, all 75,000, right? Please, please, please win tonight. Keep the season going. If you've got anything about yourselves, fucking put the work in. Die on the pitch. Leave it all out on there. And just, it doesn't matter how you win it, as long as you win it and get through. And then you're literally a couple of steps away from the final then. And you'll save yourselves, because this season has been absolutely dog shit. Like Rayanator's just said, there's just one sentence for those players. For the love of God, fight and fucking win. Couldn't have said it better myself. Could not have said it better myself. Look, we went live a little bit earlier today, about 1:45 was it, I think, with the early team news as always. If you lovely human beings can leave a like on the video for us and subscribe, we are on, if you have a look here, 13,905 subs. We're 95 subs off 14k. So if there is anyone who is new to the channel and you're like, who's this geezer talking football, then please do hit that subscribe button. It means more than you know. Apart from that, me, Sam, and Chivy are going to be live after the game with a post-match review. And it's either going to be a really miserable one, or it's going to be jubilation, and it's going to be huge smiles, and we're going to be buzzing. Hopefully it is the latter. Hopefully you lot who are in the chat in a minute can come and join us for that and give your analysis and your opinions, because that's more important than anything. Hopefully we'll see you there. And look, go put the punditry on. Go enjoy the pre-match build-up. I don't want to take too much of your time. I just want to give my thoughts, share opinions, and conversate on the game ahead and a starting lineup. And yeah, look, appreciate every single one of you. Smash that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you after.